Diddy's back in the headlines again. And this time, it's because the one rumor everybody was whispering about finally looks real. Diddy is broke, like totally broke, and his lawyers are ready to flip on him because there's nothing left to pay them with. Wait till you hear how Cassie just drained him of everything he had just a few days ago.
Not really try to overdo it with the theme, but just, have it be more sophisticated and more minimalistic.
That's right you are. And please tell me about your look tonight. You look amazing.
I'm wearing head-to-toe Tom Brown, and I just wanted to be, at my Sunday's best.
And the craziest part is once you start looking at the lawsuits, the raids, the frozen assets, and the people suddenly cutting ties, it really looks like the empire's already gone.
You ready? You ready?
Line up, please. Come on, guys.
Diddy's name used to mean private jets, all-white parties, and money flowing like water. Now, his income has dropped so low that even his own lawyers are rumored to be flipping on him just to save themselves. The same man who once called himself the Black Sinatra is fighting to keep the empire together while federal investigators, ex-girlfriends, and former business partners circle like vultures. This isn't just a fall from grace, it's a collapse in real time. And the story only gets darker the deeper we go. For years, Diddy was the guy who bragged about making money while he slept. Every party, every interview, every flex was built around the idea that his empire never stopped printing cash. But right now, that machine isn't just slowed down, it's basically unplugged.
Basically, I was called to have a meeting with Diageo, and they knew that I was kind of killing things in the culture, and they were trying to fix their diversity problem. And through that, a meeting was set up, and I told them, I want to be an owner.
The first big hit came when his partnership with Diageo, the company behind Ciroc and DeLeon, went south. That deal was the centerpiece of his business mogul image. And after legal disputes and racial discrimination lawsuits between him and Diageo, the whole thing collapsed. No more Ciroc checks rolling in, which is insane because those deals were rumored to be bringing him tens of millions a year. That was the champagne popping money, gone. Then came Revolt, his media baby. That was supposed to be his black-owned MTV moment. But as lawsuits and federal investigations piled up, Revolt quickly distanced themselves. Eventually, reports surfaced that Diddy sold his majority stake. The translation? Another cash faucet closed. And of course, the Cassie lawsuit in late 2023 changed everything. That settlement wasn't just expensive on its own, it opened the floodgates. After Cassie, multiple women came forward with lawsuits of their own. Each one costs money to fight, money to settle, and money to keep from completely destroying your reputation. Add in the fact that brands, festivals, and TV networks don't want to touch him now, and suddenly the guy who was once Forbes' hip-hop's richest is frozen out of every revenue stream. Even royalties aren't safe. Artists who built Bad Boy Records are trying to separate themselves from him. The industry isn't calling, the clubs aren't booking, and the sponsors aren't picking up the phone. So imagine going from bragging about how no one could out-hustle you to waking up and realizing the bank account hasn't moved. That's where Diddy is right now. And when the money stops, the loyalty around you stops too, which is why the story gets crazier. Because the people he paid to protect him, his own lawyers, might be getting ready to talk. Okay, so here's the tea. Your lawyers aren't supposed to be the shady ones, right? They're the ride or die people. But when the checks stop coming, and you're stuck in Brooklyn's Feds-only hotel, aka jail, even your legal squad starts eyeing the exit door. That's exactly what's happening to Diddy right now. Back in February 2025, his high-profile attorney Anthony Rico abruptly quit, dropping one of the most cryptic exits ever. I cannot continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs. No dramatic explanation, just peace out. That move alone had tongues wagging. Like, what on earth went down behind the scenes? Fast forward to July, and Diddy got that split verdict. Not guilty on the serious trafficking and racketeering charges, but guilty on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. This partial win meant his lawyers dodged the worst, but now the heat is still scorching. He's facing possible prison time of up to 20 years, and that means lawyers are sweating bullets over whether this gig's worth the risk. Here's what's wild. In high-stakes cases like this, lawyers can end up being witnesses if investigators believe they were involved or had knowledge of wrongdoing. So if they feel like they're too deep in the mud, flipping might look like a safer play. And when your money's dried up, loyalty is a luxury. Remember, Diddy was once making big money from Ciroc and DeLeon, with Diageo paying him nearly $1 billion over the years. Those mega deals are gone now. The money tree's been chopped, and that leaves his legal team watching their paychecks vanish. Life is so crazy because not long ago, Diddy was flexing in private jets, owning mansions worth tens of millions across LA and Miami, popping bottles in the VIP, and basically living rent-free in billionaire status. That was the guy, the one who could drop a casual $1 billion Ciroc and DeLeon deal and still act humble about it. But guess what? That lifestyle just got a hard reset. Let's talk numbers. Forbes estimated his net worth at a whopping $825 million in 2018. By June 2024, just before his legal trouble exploded, that had already dropped to $400 million. And that was before the raided homes, the lost brand deals, and the civil lawsuits rolled in. Speaking of brand deals, there's no more Ciroc or DeLeon. Diageo waved farewell, saying Diddy's lawsuits made him impossible to be the face of anything. That used to be his money-making superpower. Oh, and Sean John, his fashion and lifestyle brand, basically ghosted by Macy's and decimated in value. And the catalog of hits still got some value, sure, but companies are nervous. Now add 50+ pending civil lawsuits, with the possibility of massive payouts or court-ordered restitution. Cassie's $20 million settlement was just the opener. If they win, he could end up paying way more. With his assets locked and lawsuits stacking, we're about to find out just how long even a billionaire can tread water. Because one thing we really need to understand is that this isn't just a legal sticky wicket. This is the kind of nightmare scenario most moguls only see in bad movies. The man's life went from the red carpet to a square jail room, and fast.
And we are following breaking news right now coming out of South Florida. Chopper 6 live right now. This is over the Star Island home of rapper P. Diddy, where 4 law enforcement sources tell NBC News that a search warrant has been executed by federal agents with Homeland Security investigations. Now we're hearing another search warrant has been executed at his home in Los Angeles.
First up, the raid drama. Back in March 2024, federal agents busted into a Star Island, Miami mansion and Homey Hills, LA estate. Agents rolled through with armored vehicles, seized electronics, and found a wild collection of weapons, drugs, thousands of baby oil bottles, condoms, sex toys, and even lingerie. They even nabbed AR-15s with scratched off serial numbers. Yeah, freaking AR-15s. These raids weren't just flashy headlines, they showed the prosecutors were confident as hell in their case. Homeland Security, NYPD, LAPD, FBI, they all showed up like it was Black Friday, which usually means they've already built a pretty airtight playbook. Then there's the real estate meltdown. Remember Diddy's $61.5 million Homey Hills mansion? He listed it, probably trying to shake off the heat, but the best offer he got was $30 million, which is less than half the original price. That's not a sale, that's a liquidation. Next, the legal battleground. His $50 million bail got denied 3 times because prosecutors argued he's a flight risk and a threat to the community. Now he's stuck at the notorious Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, the kind of place where the word luxury is strictly forbidden. And just last month, the trial hit a fever pitch. Diddy got acquitted on the big ticket charges, racketeering and sex trafficking, but convicted on 2 transportation for prostitution counts. The jury dropped the hammer on that lesser charge, and now he's still locked up as sentencing looms. The walls aren't just closing in, they're collapsing. And for someone who is living like royalty, that's got to feel like waking up in a nightmare. Here's where it gets really messy. In hip-hop, nothing hits harder than the word snitch. It's basically the scarlet letter of the culture. But when the feds start circling like they are with Diddy, snitching becomes less about reputation and more about survival. And the scary part for him is, insiders are already showing cracks. We already saw it with his lawyer Anthony Rico piecing out earlier this year. That wasn't just a quiet exit. It was a flashing red light that people in his own camp don't want to go down with the ship. And if you look at how federal cases work, once one domino tips, the rest follow. Prosecutors love nothing more than flipping insiders. You've got lawyers, assistants, bodyguards, pilots, ex-girlfriends, all of them being potential witnesses. Remember during the trial, Homeland Security agents testified that they seized phones and hard drives with tens of thousands of messages and files. That's basically a buffet of evidence. If even one person on payroll decides to cooperate, it's like giving the government a cheat code. And with 50+ lawsuits still active in civil court, there's no shortage of people willing to talk. The irony is crazy. Diddy built his brand on being untouchable. Can't stop, won't stop wasn't just a catchphrase, it was his whole aura. Now the feds are hoping his people will stop and start talking. And history shows they usually do. Look at Tekashi 6ix9ine's crew, look at Suge Knight's collapse. Once the money dries up, loyalty goes with it. And talking about loyalty, another funny thing is how the industry is keeping its distance and is not even hiding it. Because if there's one thing Hollywood and the music industry are good at, it's ghosting people the second their brand becomes radioactive. And with Diddy, the ghosting has been Olympic level. People who used to be with him at every Grammy after party are suddenly nowhere to be found. Jay-Z, silent. Kanye, too busy trying to fix his own PR nightmares. Usher, nowhere near the case. The silence from former collaborators is deafening, and it says everything. In an industry built on image, nobody wants to be in the splash zone. Even Cassie, whose lawsuit kicked this avalanche off, has become a symbol of the culture shift. After she settled for $20 million, more women stepped forward, and the industry started treating Diddy like yesterday's news. What used to be whispers turned into headlines, and now nobody wants their brand attached to him. And let's not forget music. Bad Boy Records was once untouchable, but now younger artists aren't shouting out Diddy, and even some veterans are trying to separate their catalogs from him. Imagine being the guy who brought Biggie to the world, and now artists want their royalties with your name erased. That's legacy suicide. Here's the cold truth. In celebrity culture, loyalty lasts only as long as the money does. Once the headlines get ugly, everyone acts like they never had your number saved. Which is fair, considering that it's, well, Diddy. But it's not just about money. His reputation is torched. Even if he wanted to throw a comeback party tomorrow, who's showing up? Nobody wants to be the celeb caught two-stepping at a Diddy event. And this is where it gets almost ironic. Diddy built his entire empire on being untouchable. Can't stop, won't stop wasn't just a catchphrase, it was his business model. Yet here we are in 2025, watching the same people who used to call him a genius now pretend he never existed. His lawyers are scrambling, insiders whisper he's considering deals that would throw former associates under the bus just to save himself, and even that might not work. Because how do you negotiate when the whole world already thinks you're guilty? If this really is the endgame, then Diddy's story might go down as one of the wildest cautionary tales in entertainment history. A man who went from running the 90s with Biggie to building billion-dollar brands to standing next to presidents is now standing alone in courtrooms bleeding money by the day. So is this it for Diddy? Well, unless something miraculous happens, yeah, this looks like the end of the road. So here we are. What started as whispers is now a full-blown implosion. Diddy's empire didn't just crumble, it detonated. From platinum plaques to prison cells, billion-dollar brands to frozen bank accounts, one thing's clear. This isn't a scandal. It's a collapse, and everyone is watching.